Alrighty, hello. My name is Fraser Williams, and we are going to be doing or talking about a person named Jan van Eyck, and this is a visual timeline. Again, my name is Fraser Williams, and this is just going to be all about him. I'm going to give a little bit of background about his life, what he's done, where he's come from. I'm going to go over a couple of his most famous paintings. Like I said, this is a visual timeline, so just kind of going over his biggest accomplishments, what he's done, what he's most known for, and yeah, so here we go. Alright, so that's the man himself. He's considered to be one of the first to use oil paintings. He's like the pioneer of it. He did several famous paintings that we'll talk about later. His earlier life, he worked as a court painter. He just kind of painted around the courts. And then after his death, he continued to grow more and more famous. He was known while he was alive. He was well respected. Everybody respected him as an artist. But even after his death, his fame continued to just soar and soar and soar through the roof. He became more famous pretty much by the day. And now we know him as this great, amazing oil painter who pioneered the way for oil paintings. Alright, so the first piece we're going to look at is the net altarpiece. So this is painted between 1420 to 1432, somewhere in there in that time frame. This painting is now in St. Bavo's Cathedral. This is considered to be one of his first major oil paintings, or really one of the main or first oil paintings of the day. This is actually a fold out. So this is a double-sided, this is the back side, so this is what you would see if it was folded up. If it was opened up though, you would see right there in the center would be Jesus Christ, the Messiah himself, along with Mary, his disciples all around him. And this is a contextual theory is used for this art piece because this is representing religion and Jesus and the Christ. And so that's why I believe that this is a more pointed towards the contextual theory side of things. Alright, so now we're going to look at one of my favorites that he's done, the Arnolfini portrait. So this painting was done in 1434 and is now in the National Gallery in London, considered to be one of the most famous paintings he ever did. And this picture that I put on the presentation, I know it doesn't do justice exactly what you can see, but there is so much detail in this painting. The expressive theory is used because he has just put so much spin on this, and there are many, many different theories and ways. There's a video actually in our module that we talked about, and it kind of went over this, but if you can kind of zoom in, or you can tell in this painting, there's a mirror right there in the back. You can see that, but what's hard to make out is there's actual people in that painting, and it's said that there's two people in there, and that's actually supposed to be representations of me and you looking at the painting. Now, there are many different theories about what this painting is representing. Some people think it's a marriage, some people think it's their bedroom. We don't really know, and that's kind of up to the person to decide. But some of the little things to kind of know, to point out here is their shoes are off. That was the first thing that I kind of was like, that's kind of weird. Why is that? And the video pointed this out, and you can't really see it in this picture, but there's actually fruit there. And back then, it was not very common to have those oranges and those fruits there. It was considered a, quote, wealthy thing. Only the rich could have. And so maybe this is them being considered rich. And going back to kind of the fruit, what I just talked about, is you can see that they're wearing really heavy clothing, very thick clothing. So why would they need that if it was fruit season in summertime or even in the spring? So just a couple things to point out. The last thing I thought was interesting, and again, the video pointed this out to me, was that there's only one candle lit, and some people think that that is a sign of God being present. Don't really know, just kind of up to the person to decide. So that is that one. And this is the Virgin and Child with Canon van der Pijl. This painting was completed in 1436, representing the Virgin Mary with Christ in her lap. You can tell around her throne, it's very detailed. I know that this picture doesn't really do it justice. Apologize. But on her left and on her right, that's Mary in the center. On her left and on her right, there is Adam and Eve representing the creation. Now that's Christ in her lap, and this is supposed to be a painting of her in the church. And there is the Pope there, and there's quite possibly another preacher or a pastor there with her, and this is her on her throne with the Christ. This is also a contextual theory is used. This is one of the most detailed paintings that he has ever done. Again, I apologize, this picture does not do it justice, just how well it was done. It is just an amazing, amazing picture and painting that he did. Alright, and this is the Madonna in the church. This is also representing Mary. You can kind of tell in the backgrounds off to the right near the back, there's little wooden carvings back there, and if you can zoom in or look closer, but that's actually representing her life. You can actually see her holding the Messiah, baby Jesus, in her arms back there, and then you can also see, and this is more clearly for y'all to see, but up in the top there, you can actually see what the Christians believe is going to happen to Jesus. He's going to be crucified on the cross, so that's just a representation of what's about to happen in her life. She's going to have to watch what the Christians believe her son is going to die, and so she's going to have to witness that. Now, many art critics don't think that this is an appropriate art piece, even though I think it's beautifully and wonderfully done. But they say that Mary is actually too big for there. She is not in the right size, not in the right place. But honestly, I disagree. I think, it's very well done. One of the things I like to point out is if you can tell, you can see actually the sun beaming in from the different windows and the doors, and that's just a very good attention to detail. This is an example of the contextual theory because this is more of the religion based and just talking about that. Alright, I think that is everything, so thank you so much.